In the end, I decided to head to the library. All the Dantalions turned to me the moment I entered inside.
Well, I certainly didn't expect a human to wander here at a time like this.
Who are you?
The warden seemed to have reached the library yet. I sighed a breath of relief. I'm Tendo Cessna, a pilgrim. There's something we'd like to ask of you. The female Dantalion closest to me nodded and came closer.
Indeed. And what would that be?
Could you briefly explain to me what's going on here? Although Lilith and Belial seems to be at odds with Lucifuge and Samael all of a sudden.
We never leave the confines of this library, so all of our information is second-hand. But as far as we know, Raziel seems to have caused some ire among the higher-ups of this place.
Raziel?
Astaroth and his cohorts alleged that he was the perpetrator of the divine calamity, that her book, the Sefer Raziel, caused it all.
Raziel's book. The very one I was looking for.
Lilith and Belial took her aside. Belial, in particular, argued that there was no way of proving her guilt without the Sefer Raziel in her possession.
And at the same time, he accused the Astaroth instead. It seemed that Samael, who they met in the third stratum, confessed that she was working under the prince's orders at this time.
Then Samael made his move. Originally, he defended Raziel and faced Astaroth together with Lilith, but the two soon split up, whereupon formed a completely new third faction.
But why? Why would he... Dantalion gave me a perfunctory shrug.
I don't know. He might have been following someone's orders, though it beats me who could order him around at this point in time.
Could have been the mysterious man? Which angels would have authority to order Samael around? I don't care if they're dead, just need them all.
The four Master Angels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, and then Sandalphon, and of course...
Dantalion cocked her head to the side. The last one was the mysterious man, no doubt.
I think there was another one, but,
It's alright. I know who you're talking about.
You know who he is?
Not really, but I too want to learn his identity. I need Raziel's book for that. Raziel?
My book?
The nearby bookshelf seemed to want to enter our conversation. When I turned around to inspect it, the many faces Dantalion turned to massive distress. We spent a dozen or so seconds in complete silence, finding they allowed sighs or resonation in unison.
well, what are we supposed to do now?
The bookshelf answered Dantalion's exasperation with an apology.
Sorry, it just slipped out.
I took a small sigh myself and addressed the bookshelf whose voice was all too familiar. Raziel, I'm not your enemy. Come out.
You're not lying?
I'm not lying.
If you're really not here to get me, then do an impression of Lilith.
An impression of Lilith? Among the multitude of lines I committed to my memory, I picked a couple that were the most fit for this situation. After slightly restructuring them to sound as much like Lilith as possible, I proceeded with a high-pitched voice.
Raziel, could you please remove your tanks from my border? I was just fooling around with that nuclear research, I swear!
Okay, you don't seem to mean me harm.
Raziel emerged from the bookshelves.
You people are weird.
Huh? Me too? That was the best I could pull off without a proper rehearsal. Dantalion shrugged in unison, clearly exasperated.
You two must be birds of a feather. Either way, what are you planning to do now, Raziel? I don't think we can keep hiding you from prying eyes forever.
I don't know.
I can't stay in Pandora forever.
Yeah, I didn't think I could keep this up much longer myself. But where else can I go?
Do you remember a girl by the name of Kengutsu Surumi? Raziel paused to think for a few seconds, and then shook her head. This placed in a slight pang of pain across my chest.
I don't think I do. Is she one of the pilgrims?
She's so important to me. I need to borrow your powers to save her.
What do you mean?
Apparently, I need a book called The Sefer Raziel to get to where she's being held. Raziel opened her eyes wide, and grasping both of my shoulders, gave me a violent shake.
You know where my book is?
I was told it was on the 6th stratum, though I can't be sure how trustworthy that information is.
Adam and Eve are currently on the 4th, aren't they? If you hurry, you might be able to catch up with them in time.
So those two are still continuing on with their pilgrimage.
Good. Let's go after them. Actually, we too were thinking of going on the pilgrimage, if not for... Huh?
Raziel cocked her head to the side in bewilderment.
Actually, didn't I go on a pilgrimage with Lilith already? No, wait, not only her. I think there were 2 others with us too.
I felt a tightness in my chest. Not strong enough to cause me physical pain, but it was not enough that I could simply ignore it. I knew the name for this phenomenon, or rather, emotion. Wistfulness. Joy for her recalling me, somewhat anguish from her not recognizing me blended into one complicated feeling to weigh down my chest.
Anyway, if you're planning to go on a pilgrimage, I'd like to accompany you. How much do you think you can trust for your information?
As much as you can trust an angel by the name of Messenger, I suppose. Both Raziel and Dantalion opened their eyes wide.
What did you say? You've actually met her?
She was the one that started all this pilgrimage business to begin with. Where was she hiding all this time anyway?
What did she look like?
Raziel gave me a small nod as I described the white woman to her.
Does sound like her. It seems I can trust that you've seen her at least.
So you believe me?
Understood. I will trust in your word.
Raziel gave me a hearty nod.
Then you two better hurry on. Samael or Astaroth's men could get there any...
Just as Dantalion uttered those words, the library doors flew open.
Any minute, all the jazz. I guess I should have packed a more concise wording.
The Dantalion sighed in unison. Lucifuge stood before us, the one and only Chancellor of Hell. A few other demons lingered behind his back. It seemed we were in quite a dire situation.
I knew I would find you here, Raziel.
Raziel gave Lucifuge a fierce glare. Lucifuge in turn let out a mocking snort.
If you so desire, I stand valiantly in revolt. Let me bear witness to your infallible guilt.
Have we gone back to medieval witch hunts now? Let me tell you one thing, Lucifuge.
Raziel readied her tablet.
I dislike conflict, but I don't think I ever said I lacked in power.
Her expression changed.
Space reinforcement and vector shift. Air, level 4. Pulverize.
Lucifuge leapt into the air, but the demons behind him were a second too late. A violent blast of air crushed him against the opposing wall.
Thank you for not letting this filth into our library. Too bad the old fart I at least wanted to soil my... Too bad the old fart I at least wanted to soil my abode slithered in. 'Tis an ingrained notion of mine to be wary of pacifists.
Without a hearty cackle, apparently losing all of his subordinates in a blink of an eye didn't matter much to him.
Who let the heap of anime trouble into our library?
The Dantalion that had been conversing with let out a sigh and faced Lucifuge.
Dantalion, I have no quarrel with you. Scurry on back to your tones, if you would be so kind.
And so we shall.
A book appeared in Dantalion's right hand. Raziel and I jumped back out of reflex. The raw magical power in it was staggering.
What is the meaning of this? Lord Lucifuge, didn't you yourself tell us?
To go back to our books?
Indeed. Our one and sole eternal duty is to look after the books of this universe.
Hence, we have a duty of expunge parasites that mean them harm from the vicinity, like yourself.
A practical conclusion. Although, there is a flaw in your conjecture.
Lucifuge snapped his fingers. Darkness descended on his erect figure. His contours rippled, slowly melting into the penetrable void. The shadows he summoned also covered the library's door. I had a very bad feeling about trying to step through them right now.
Expunge me? Such a feat is impossible for two lowly cretins such as yourselves.
Dantalion launched a volley of spears of light at Lucifuge. The old demon, moving like a snake, poured out of their path. Projectiles crashed into the walls of the library, decimating into their path and sending countless books flying down to the ground.
Raziel, Setsuno, follow me! I'll show you the way to the secret tunnel!
Her voice as a cue, we darted towards the direction she indicated.
Here!
Raziel flinched at another explosion behind us.
Well, don't mind it too much. Still, seems like this is the end for our library. All of the knowledge and wisdom of humans, angels, and demons like dispersing into the nothingness like fleeting dream.
Dantalion gives a forlorn smile. Frank, you narrate.
Lucifuge guarded one bookshelf to dozens of
Slithers like serpent.
And a venomous one to boot.
Good to keep information on those.
R34 contains information on all venomous snakes in Bubblewood.
Just to complain, I guess.
Ails you. You cannot vanquish me with such shameful lack of passion. A fight? Who would have thought our Grand Chancellor was such a brute?
Multiple beams of light suddenly took shape of a net and fell upon Lucifuge, who latter, however, gave a snort and, growing thin as a thread, escaped through a narrow opening between the projectiles.
I see your roots and indeed your raison d'etre lie in the darkness.
Raison d'etre related to darkness are numbered. Suppression of evidence, gloom, shadows. Usually something quite depressing, I'd say.
Dantalion continued on with his onslaught, having a hearty conversation with his other selves at the same time. A few of him even busied themselves with ordering the fallen blows.
Indeed, my raison d'etre is obscurity. But it does not matter. You grasping onto such a feeble grain of knowledge is for naught.
Lucifuge spun around, and the library grew even darker.
Please accept my sincerest condolences, but I shall have to obliterate you together with your books. Oh, this is one thing I positively wouldn't like.
How do you expect me to order these volumes when you keep getting in my way?
Could you put that off for a little bit?
The sounds of chopping wood, tearing paper, multiple explosions, and a hint of crackling parchment filled the library. Dull sounds of multiple bodies hitting the ground followed. Dantalion's sense of sight proved completely worthless within the clutches of impenetrable darkness.
Only I, the exuberant Lucifuge, am permitted to see within the dark confines. The impenetrable black shall be your grave.
I can't say I fancy these conditions much. You can't read books in the dark. We have some written in Braille, but those are mostly dull and a few in number.
Indeed, darkness is no good. Some might find it soulless, but for most, it only gives birth to terror.
So, what do you propose?
What else?
The
The time's nigh for our raison. Go ahead. Let's do it together.
The time's nigh
for our raison d'etre to be revealed.
All of the Dantalions suddenly shot up into the air, and each one carrying a different book in hand began surrounding Lucifer.
Huh? The Holy Bible.
The 9 keys of the Kingdom Shadows.
The Agenda Aurea.
The keys of Solomon.
The written word may bring light, illuminating the minds of all who crave its wisdom.
The written word may bring darkness, leading astray all who succumb to the temptation.
Seeking light.
We embrace darkness.
Seeking knowledge.
We plunge into delusion.
We are the inhabitants of parchment, slaves to the written word.
We are the kings of parchment, rulers of the written word.
Our dreams reach throughout the omnitude of lands.
Our curses penetrate the deepest depths of oceans.
Our raison d'etre is the thirst for knowledge.
The written word bestowed upon us humanity, teaching us justice, courtesy, and wisdom, lumbering with loyalty, sincerity, and filial piety, exalting the obedience.
Written word infused us with ambition and despair, filled us with delusions, exalting us in wickedness.
They have learned all their knowledge, all of their emotions from parchment. Books were their soul and their body.
Fusion!
Fusion, amorphous spiral of wisdom.
Countless grimoires flew into the air from the confines of their shelves, their pages dispersing like birds and locking together again, fusing into a vast assortment of weapons.
Paper weapons?
The parchment in one Dantalion's hand took the shape of a sturdy two-handed sword of Western design.
Indeed.
The parchment in the hands of a female Dantalion took the shape of a Chinese spear.
Oh, is that me again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fashioned from the Gurmers of the multiverse, all supreme in their own field.
Another Dantalion shaped his parchment into a bow.
The light of wisdom shall sever the darkness.
You made a fatal mistake by challenging us in a library refugee. I would recommend you commit this into memory if you get out alive.
Ha! Do you perchance believe paper to threaten me? Indeed.
We do.
Swords, and other weapons of all kinds,
Rejection. Fergumongi.
Notions and beliefs, certain things in life cannot be expressed in words, but can be understood only when darkness as they exhibited the symbols of all take the granted numbers letters by themselves already but respond once formed into words they took the shape of a lasting only the blackness about Lucifuge himself remained in place.
Lucifuge! I won't let you get away.
Dantalions with bows launched a volley of arrows that pierced and bound Lucifuge's shadow. Black blood running down his posture, the demon chancellor gave Dantalion a fierce glare.
Such utter lunacy! Don't you realize 'tis the end of Pandora? Neither angels nor demons, much less humans, shall grace your library with their presence again. What asinine spirit possesses you to protect it still?
Which is one of the true duty.
We are responsible for this library, and till the very second this world turns to dust.
In a sense, you could say we have long since perished.
Hope no longer inhabits the walls of Pandora. Or rather, its paragons have already left, and now all that remains is not even despair, just superfluous residue like ourselves.
Dantalion exhaled a forlorn sigh. A group of other Dantalions picked up the paralyzed Lucifuge and threw him out the library doors.
Neither Raziel nor that human, Tendo Setsuna, will ever visit us again in this verse.
So you have no business here. Though, if you swear not to cause any more ruckus, you can always come here to read. Everyone in this world has an equal right to knowledge.
So long, Lucifuge.
So library doors fell shut. Oh wait, Frank, continue.
Oh, all right. Lucifuge sighed and stood up. Indeed, it was unlikely he could trace Raziel's escape route at this point, even if he managed to take over the library.
Lucifuge, come back. And what of Raziel? I suppose we can't simply let her run loose. I will have Samael track her. Your wish is my command. Do you believe this will prove to be the last battle, sir? At least to us it will. If we perish here, that angel will promptly take over the world. That angel? Have you finally construed its identity? Yes. And turns out, I knew him very well. I doubt there is a worse opponent for us to face in this multiverse. The decrepit warden won't permit the existence of a single spirit in ourselves, like ourselves.
Astaroth let out a mocking snicker.
To tell you the truth, he is kind of standing in front of my very eyes right this second. Apparently, we are to be annihilated in a moment, or so he says. Huh? Anyway, could you come here and help? I highly doubt I can handle him alone. Yes, sir.
Lucifuge, stopping for a moment to treat his arrow wounds, stormed through the corridor.
Duck?
Have you finished saying your farewells?
The man pointed his vitreous blade at Astaroth.
No. I asked for reinforcements instead. Thought that together with my confident Lucifuge, I might still stand a chance.
Astaroth smiled. The man answered with his own warped grin.
I must confess, I am surprised you considered a chance of that minusculity. Astaroth, do you believe you have enough power to create the new world?
I suppose the thing I created was more of a miniature garden than a world. In that sense, I certainly don't have enough power in comparison to you.
A miniature garden with no future.
What good is the future for?
Humans, my beloved children, need it.
Astaroth could barely contain himself from laughing out loud at the man's hypocrisy.
I'd love to have a long discussion about how genuine that love of yours is, but I suppose you wouldn't have the time.
I have a duty to fulfill, to create the new future as soon as possible.
Duty? Well, that's funny. You sure you don't mean ambition? Or dream? With God out of his mind, there is no one left to order you around.
God is bound by his name and function, and so I, who once went by that name, should be bound just the same.
Is there no place for mercy in your soul, O lesser god?
You shall remember that Noah was permitted to save only his family and the beasts.
The man guffawed. The crowned prince of hell laughed. Astaroth's countenance suddenly became dead serious once more.
How mundane. Isn't that but a loop? Are you planning to design history?
Future has to be defined.
A preordained future is nothing but tedium. Therefore, I oppose it.
The two finally came to the same conclusion. That there was no need to waste any more time listening to drivel, that there was naught left but to obliterate one's adversary.
I, the crowned prince of hell, Astaroth, shall rend the bosom bare of guts with my raison d'etre.
Kneel before the power of...
Man answered Astaroth's call, the principal truth. The clash of the two immense powers gave birth to a tiny black hole that swallowed all the matter around in an instant. Everything in a dozen or so meteor radius around the two vanished, except for Astaroth and the man. The two were without doubt the strongest beings in the multiverse now that God had left the stage. Nonetheless, it was evident who had the upper hand between a man who lingered and looked over the world and a man who prided himself on guiding the universe to the future. Still want me for this?
Yeah.
A long, long time ago, at a time when the world was still young and unstable, the woman, after countless years on the road as a nomad, finally realized the insignificance of her existence. Her pilgrimage was that of repentance. It was all the fault of her lust that her children now suffered. Penitence, a soul dweller in her mind, she lamented, grieved, and prayed. Save my children, save my progeny. The sin was not, was never theirs. Yet her prayers never bore fruit. After witnessing her children's ruination for an eternity, she finally realized that the Lord had never cared for her. To him, she was likely already a thing of the past, a little fool, tricked by the devil, punished and banished. The end. She was no longer a character in his design. He did not care whether she lived or died. She was a forgotten relic of the past. Unfortunately, she knew not death. Men would age and die, but she alone remained young forever. All a part of the fruit's curse. She was immortal, lest killed by the hand of her child. She lamented, cursed her imperfect immortality, but at the same time, dreaded death just the same. All she could do was continue her everlasting journey. She saw everything to see in the world. She committed all the sceneries of the earth to her mind. She traversed the world round 10 times and saw the perpetual rise and fall of mankind. She grew tired of it all. Men would be born and then die. Nations would be formed and then fall apart. Always the same thing. She grew weary of it. And after what seemed like an eternity, she now resided in purgatory, never achieving anything, spending the age of the world itself dawdling, carried around like a leaf in the wind.
After finding a way out of the library, Raziel and I dashed through the corridor.
Dingo Sentinel, was it? I'd be very happy if you tried not to get yourself killed if they find us. It's a sneaking mission. Okay?
Yes, I understand.
Thanks.
Evading the prying eyes of both angels and demons, we eventually found our way through to relative safety. Raziel, can I ask you about your past?
Past?
Well, not that much of a past, I guess. Do you remember much of the past month? Raziel cocked her head, After seemingly brooding for a few seconds, she covered a slightly puzzled expression on her face.
I'm sorry. I'm easy. I feel like I've been doing something silly. Or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I think it was with someone. But I don't remember who that person was. It feels really sad.
I see. That's enough to reassure me. Alicia didn't seem to be happy about forgetting me.
Lilith and Belial were fighting Samael. It seems he unveiled his raison d'etre, and everything is chaos over there now.
Samael. What about the students that used to be here?
We stored everyone in the data form.
Then we're all right. Probably. The part about storing people's data kinda unnerved me though. As we dashed through the corridors, it finally hit me that this place would probably never be used as a school again. The relationship between angels and demons were pretty volatile to begin with. I could say it had gone off the rails. Not to ever make up after this.
Don't understand.
Huh?
I don't understand. Or rather, remember why we all ended up fighting each other. I can't remember what I've done.
Her face was a mask of gloom. That's all the fault of that angel.
Did my book call us the Divine Calamity?
I don't know either, but I think we can be sure to play the part, in the current conflict at least. Do you remember anything about it?
Even I can barely remember what's in it.
Apparently when she wrote the Sefer Raziel, she was in a trance, possessed by God.
The book is separated into two tomes. The Book of Earth and the Book of Heaven. The Book of Earth was a manual on how to live on Earth for humans, while the Book of Heavens held on all secrets of the cosmos inscribed within.
All?
Yeah, I think it's very likely I recorded this divine calamity there.
You think that might have caused it? Like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I don't know. I can't remember anything.
Raziel fell silent.
Test. Mr. Human, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Nice. I have no idea why I could establish a telepathic link with someone whose face I barely had time to see, but whatever. Are you with Raziel right now?
I've forgotten all about me, but she still treated me the same. It kind of warmed my heart. Yes.
Alrighty. Delilah and I are currently in the midst of combat and stuff, so I'm not sure if we can meet up right now.
We're heading to the 6th Stratum right now.
6 Stratum? Why?
An angel by the name Messenger told us the Sefer Raziel was there.
No, wait. Seriously?
Well, at least she told us so. I don't know how much we can trust her, but that book seems to have played a crucial role in all that has transpired here.
Yeah, I guess we should definitely check it out. Okay, we'll catch up with you later. Don't worry about us, we'll be in the 6th Stratum before you if you don't hurry.
Okay.
Be careful of the chorus and masters, alright?
Yeah, I know.
What's your name?
Tendo Setsuna.
Is that so? Well then, Setsuna, I leave Raziel in your hands. And, have we met before?
We might have.
Is that so? Well, anyway, I entrust everything to your hands.
You can leave it all to me. Meanwhile, I myself got surprised with a candor reply. I'm trying to reach the gates that loom in the usual place like a giant, passive skyscraper.
We can take a shortcut straight to the Stratum from here.
Alright, Which district is it modeled after?
Our homeland, Astaroth. Lucky for us, Adam already cleared the way, so we can reach it with little hassle.
Holy Land? Duck.
There they are!
I spotted 100 or so angels charging towards us. Took a deep breath. And concentrated all my magic to myself. Nanomachines from my body proceed to manufacture napalm from my bloodstream. I allocated to the steel pipes in my wrists. I changed my cells to those of an electric eel. And fire! God of flames! No Kakasuchi! A burst of fire shot from my palms, lighting up the ground and walls in fiery flames, impeding the angel advance. Angels hesitated. The ultra-high temperature wall of fire proved to be better protection than the thickest of plate armors. Raziel!
Okay, it's open.
Jumped straight into the white light and dashed forward. Raziel flew in the air. I tried my best to keep up with her on foot.
You can't fly?
I forgot how.
That's troublesome.
Very troublesome.
Want me to remind you?
Yeah, but do it on the move if possible.
Okay.
Akihabara are waiting for us beyond the doors of the fourth stratum. As peaceful as ever. Few buildings seem to have fallen apart, but only complete silence surrounded the place now.
I wonder if Adam took the master here.
Hopefully that's the case.
I'll scan the surrounding. Adam and Eve don't seem to be around. Oh, I picked up someone. But he's barely alive, it seems.
The master of this floor? For starters, we should inspect the person in question closer. Found her lying all alone among the rubble on top of one of the destroyed buildings. Raziel opened her eyes wide in surprise.
Huh? Samael?
Seems like her. The moaning girl, her arms and legs jerking in convulsions, indeed looked like Samael. Surprising sight indeed, but not something that would have warranted the earlier Raziel's overreaction. Asked her to ask to what astonished her so.
I mean, we had her locked down in Pandora.
She ran away?
No way. Even if she had gotten out of chains, angels, we would have known. Alarms are part of her shackle design.
Either way, she's right in front of our eyes here.
Who is this?
It's me, Samael.
God damn it. Raziel, huh? And Setsuna?
Huh? Wait. Samael, how come you know my name?
The hell are you talking about? Already forgot we met on the roof, blockhead.
We definitely did, but... Come, you remember me. Samael cocked her head, seemingly amused.
Well, that's a funny way to ask. Did something happen?
I briefly explained what had happened to me. She listened to it all with keen interest.
So, I'm the only one who can remember you?
Yes, even Raziel and Lilith don't. Supposedly I was erased clean from their memories. So why Samael?
We've met before?
I gave her a nod. The puzzlement in Raziel's face made my heart hurt. She has grown quite sensitive at the past couple events.
Well, aren't you a bitch? And you two are on such good terms, too. Setsuna's about to cry here.
Shut up.
I wonder why I'm the only one who still remembers you. Oh, I wish I knew, but I don't. No idea at all. No idea. Oh, actually, I think I do. But I wish I didn't. I don't want to know.
Samael suddenly became terrified, as if having realized something horrible. She began to tremble all over.
No, but then... Wait!
Samael, tell me what you know. Samael!
No. Can't be true? That's ridiculous. I'm alive. Positively, most definitely.
Samael opened her eyes wide and reached out towards the sky. However, grasping nothing, her fingers eventually lost strength. She promptly grew stiff. Did she die?
It seems so to me.
Supposed mastermind, the divine calamity, expired abruptly, with no fanfare or explosions to commemorate her passing. Her features twisted into the eternal mask of terrified disbelief. But what's so terrifying, so unbelievable to her?
No way. But then there's no other explanation for this.
Raziel stooped down in front of the motionless Samael, placing her hand on the fallen angel's chest, then picking one of her arms up.
Just as I thought.
Raziel gave a solemn sigh. I, having no idea what's going on, stared at her. You thought what?
Samael is a fake. Handmade.
What?
The composition of angelic and demonic bodies is vastly different from that of humans. It's partly the reason why we can't stockpile far more magic within ourselves than humans can. The body of the Samael seems to be closer to that of a human. It seems she was designed to use a vast amount of magic in the moment, but couldn't stockpile much long term.
So she's someone else?
No, she's not. She definitely, most positively, seems like Samael herself. But if she's handmade, then it still makes sense. Guess.
Turn Samael's body over.
It's not that easy to get your hands on the body of an angel, much less artificially create one. Not to mention it's Samael we're talking about.
She tore her clothes to inspect the shoulder region, spotting engraving there. I couldn't help but let out a cry.
Her body is just a modified version of that of a mortal. She seems to have a few parts from angels and demons installed, but the basis is very obviously human.
The number engraved on her shoulders was 18. In other words,
The 18th Samael, the enemy we've been fighting till now, was nothing more than something someone manufactured, an en-moth to boot.
can't believe it. Raziel proceeded to mumble. So she didn't forget me because...
Her memory storage medium was artificial, so even if you went on to delete all of the memories of living things in the universe, it probably wouldn't have affected her.
I spotted a hint of distress in her tone.
She was something like a clone, and an inferior one at that. I wonder if she started to lose her powers with subsequent copies, or if the method to clone her itself was flawed. Nonetheless, this clone was a result of combining advanced science with extremely powerful necromancy. I doubt anyone but a high-ranking demon could have done this. A high-ranking demon. No way. Could it be?
Astaroth? James?
It's just as you suspect.
The man stood up atop the fence on the roof. Raziel gasped, frozen in place in surprise. Crown Prince of Hell, second only to Lucifer and Beelzebub. His presence was surprising enough, his appearance was even more startling. Wounds littered the entirety of his frame. His clothes in tatters, soaked deep in crimson blood. A distant glance was more than enough to tell he's been completely ravaged. He didn't have long in this world.
I made Samael. I borrowed the science from one of the human worlds, while necromancy... well, I believe you know I'm quite good at it myself.
Why?
Raziel's voice shook. An oddly forlorn smile crept to Astaroth's lips.
Tokyo Babel needed an enemy.
Enemy? But it's full of enemies.
I guess that was a poor choice of words. It needed a mastermind, a final boss, if you will. And I chose Samael for that role.
So you're the real mastermind? Astaroth, not bothering with affirmations or denials, smiled at me.
The real mastermind? You mean someone who schemed something and caused the divine calamity as a result?
He shrugged, considering me with a look one gives a little child.
Do I look like the ambitious type of demon that would have wanted to take over both heaven and hell at any cost, if it meant destroying the world in the process? Why the hell would I be wasting my time taking care of Tokyo Babel then?
She couldn't find the words to retort that. Neither could I. Meanwhile, Astaroth continued dryly.
The reason we ended up in Tokyo Babel is a complicated blend of both intentional and unintentional malice, with a hint of goodwill in the mix. I doubt I could explain the whole situation in a few words, but let me tell you one thing. Raziel, regardless of your will, you were definitely one of the architects of the event. Though, there is also someone else very deeply involved.
He gave us a hyena-like smile and stopped. Raziel eyed, rendered speechless, stared at him.
But I can't just ruin the surprise like this. There are things you should find out for yourselves.
Astaroth pointed his arm towards me.
Dodge!
Raziel's cry as my cue. I, forgetting I was on the roof, vaulted sideways, plunging down head first towards the concrete from a dozen or so meters high. Fighting down the pain, I glanced upward, where Astaroth elegantly glided across the air, looking down on me.
Oh? You can't fly?
Seems that way.
Well, then I guess I should just crush you like an ant.
Astaroth raised his left arm and gestured in my direction. I crashed into the ground as if a train had just fallen on me. The pressure was so intense that my inside would vacate my body from my mouth. But as if death itself had rammed its executioner gun into my forehead. Astaroth remained aloof, even trying to kill me. I gritted my teeth, but that wasn't enough. I opened my eyes, but that wasn't enough either. I concentrated my magic. Not enough. Far from enough. I drew my sword. Still not enough, but I was close. I howled. The meaningless action filled me with strength.
Is that the sword of 7 deadly sins?
Proceeded to summon the... No, that was not a good idea. Astaroth used his incredible magical energy to crush the whole area around me. So with this sword, I should rather... I took a deep breath. Combine the magic contained in the sword with that of my own. Shinto Hakusen. Sovereign Cleft! I replicated a technique the man I once fought instead. Slash flew through the air, ignoring the magical energy crushing me. and assailed Astaroth, leaving a crimson mark on his cheek.
Wasn't that Shibahagane's technique?
Yes, indeed it was. Replicated from my memory, it was unlikely anyone human could have repeated his feat, mine or his, has had even the tiniest movement of muscle carefully mimicked it. I didn't expect to be this effective myself, though.
I don't think I remember you.
We had a chance to talk a little before.
I can't believe I forgot. The power of that man is indeed supreme. No wonder he had the audacity to call himself a second god.
Astaroth shook his head.
Raziel, I'd appreciate it if you didn't get in the way of our bout.
Raziel, I'd like to ask you the same.
Are you crazy? You're facing the Crown Prince of Hell, Astaroth. He's not an opponent you can beat, regardless of whether he's hurt or not.
Please. I couldn't even prevail against Astaroth in this state. Hoping to do something about a mysterious man was a dream beyond dreams.
Raziel, isn't he just someone you met the other day? Someone you're acting together with merely out of common interest, and nothing else?
Indeed, Astaroth is right. Please, stay your hand. Everything is said. However, right now there was only a way I could get her to let to me face Astaroth in a fair fight.
If you die in this fight, is it alright if I take revenge for you?
Raziel considered me with dead, serious stare. Thank you. I appreciate your feelings. I truly do. Now I knew there would be at least one angel who would be sad if I perished. Could be more joyous.
And
Yeah?
light in the sky, stepping on magic. Remember that.
Raziel jumped back, away from the reach of our impending battle. I repeated words of advice inside my head a couple of times. Stepping on magic, stepping on magic, stepping. So I synchronized the magic in the air with my feet.
Well, have at you then.
Astaroth flew from the sky, his right leg positioned to strike. It hit me like a cannonball, sending me flying backwards. What am I doing? Philosophizing in the middle of a battle. And I wanted to scold myself. My mind must have grown feeble in the past few days. I felt myself flying through the air and crashing to the ground somewhat absent-mindedly. The pain of tumbling down a hard road full of rubble did feel very real, though.
Let's do this in close quarters.
Astaroth threw a volley of jabs on his left. My augmented eye could easily make up the jabs of a boxing heavyweight world champion at a millimeter scale, but the jabs of the demon lord seemed a little too much even for me. I couldn't even tell where I got hit. Gah! I sheathed my sword in a pocket dimension and changed my stance for hand-to-hand combat. Not trying to visualize the jabs anymore, I locked my guard tight to protect my face. I jumped towards them. Met with a counter. Not minding, I threw a punch of my own at his right side, but then unrolling my fist mid-flight, I grabbed his left arm as he thought to use the guard with it instead, then I smashed my cranium into his nose with all my might.
Oh.
I knew his body was wrecked, hurting all over, yet he still had the upper hand. All because I still haven't found.
I can't feel spirit in either your fists or forehead.
He shook me away like an annoying bug. I didn't let go in time to action alone, and I thereby tore my arm off. Gah! Took a deep breath. The biggest difference between setting us two apart was likely that of our philosophy, my ability to argue the reason for my existence.
I see you haven't found the raison d'etre yet.
Astaroth's face was a mask of disappointment.
Though, I guess in a way that's quite impressive by itself. I can hardly believe you can do this much with merely your inborn physical aptitude.
Really? I haven't found it. I even begun to give it shape. Still in the middle of the road, struggling to attain it, suffering without much luck. Yet I knew I had no other choice but to fight.
You don't think yourself precious?
I say I consider myself to be so. I laughed. He kicked me to the side, instead of me tumbling down the hard asphalt again.
Then what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? I didn't want to give up. I had a person I wanted to save. It sounded true enough, but that wasn't the core of my being. At first I obeyed orders. Then I obeyed my convictions. Now I obeyed my lust. I want to save.
Mankind? Or someone dear to you personally?
Personally, I suppose. As someone who is important to me. I want to save her.
So saving her is your raison d'etre.
I do not think so. To save her was my wish, not what I was born for. Living happily in peace wasn't my true path either. I tried to tear all the embellishment and peer pressure away, consider the meaning of my life completely free of any outside influences.
What are you living for then? Tell me what has led you to reach this far. If you can't, then I suppose this is the end.
Astaroth flew into the sky again. The flaming sword in his left hand emulated the look of a dragon. His hand was long, like that of a nagamaki.
Dragon munition, Muhusu, a symbol of love and hate, my most beloved of swords. I wish I could have shown you my full gear, but this shall be more than enough for you in your present state. Will you dodge it? Or try to guard against it? Maybe you shall pierce me before I manage to finish my swing. Either way, you have no future as long as you don't find a way to escape its blade.
Future, huh? Future had been set in stone from the very start. In that sense, it was no different from Oshiba Hagane. I have longed this world. At least, I wasn't permitted enough time to fulfill Soromi's dreams. There's a price I had to pay for becoming a god. My body has always been full throttle, regardless of the circumstances. Even when I was tired, even when I was wounded, even when I was dying. It shouldn't take a genius to figure out what it meant. The system would overheat and shut down one day. If they're given a set of time, it would stop moving. I would die. There's nothing strange about it. I would die. I knew it, comprehended it from the start, so I wish I could at least do some good in this world before inevitably withering away. I'd die. I was prepared to, had made peace with the idea, yet now I felt incredibly unfair. I would die. Unfair, unfair, unfair! My heart cried it, unfair! My body creaked, letting out a soundless scream. I would die. I couldn't take it in. I couldn't tolerate the fact that Soromi had been taken away by the mysterious man. I couldn't tolerate Astaroth killing me here. I didn't want to die. So that was it. So that was what I was living for. Astaroth's sword lit up in brilliant vermilion. I took a deep breath and clutched it tight in my right hand. It mystified her. It befuddled her mind. Why she feel so invested in the mere human she met the other day? According to Samael, it was not the first time she met him. Someone tampered with her memories. Actually, Frank, you narrate this.
A mortal sin. She could not tolerate anyone, even God, tampering with records, altering information. Men always rewrote history as they saw it, but she did not mind the transgressions of Eve's children that much, for history was but one of the many weapons they used to fight with. heroes killing babies with a smile, villains risking their lives to save children. If records like that remained, men would have never grown to trust each other. They needed someone to define and embody what was evil and what was just. But angels needed no such notions. Truth was always preserved in favor of such trivialities. No matter how inconvenient, the divine law stated that truth must be preserved. If anyone, angel or demon, dared to fiddle with the divine record, it would amount to the most mortal of sins. And more than anything, she could not forgive the unknown perpetrator. The fact that he made her forget a young man whose fate seemed to weigh so heavy on her heart. She wished for him to live from the bottom of her heart. Even if he ended up hating her for it, she decided to save him.
A flame in the fashion of a dragon breath shot out Astaroth's blade. Fire rained down. Oh. Keep going, Frank.
Fire rained down like some infernal storm. Its heat potent enough to melt the South Pole with the tether block within a single blow. Raziel charged toward Astaroth's desperation. Suddenly, time ceased flowing forward.
What?
It was the first time in her long life that Raziel had ever heard Astaroth's voice shake. The crimson inferno suddenly turned the hue of white. The fiery flames locked immortal in their treacherous forms, turned to ice.
Is this your raison d'etre?
The young man answered with a fierce cry.
Indeed. This is the reason for my existence. This is my raison d'etre. Not allow anyone to dismiss me any longer.
The young man, Picati sword in hand, dashed through the sky. Following Raziel's advice, he stepped on magic to reach his adversary. Astaroth remained immobile, his previous surprise long gone from his countenance. He readied Lucifuge in his left hand to meet the young man. Raziel, her mind blank, observed the spectacle dazed, the sword of seven deadly sins shining a dim white from the tremendous magic boiling within, closed in on the blazing sword of dragon flame. Who did Astaroth face before running into them? No one but Michael or Lucifer, maybe Sandalphon, could have left him in that state. But though mortally wounded, that was still Astaroth, the mightiest of demons still living in this universe. And yet, this spectacle stretching in front of her eyes defied such logic.
Oh, it seems I've underestimated you.
Their bout at this point was no longer that of swordsmanship. It was more akin to Russian roulette. Both of them ramming loaded guns into each other's foreheads. Both of them had their sights set on each other's weapons. Not a single useless shooting, not even a pitch. All of their attacks went straight for the kill. The young man and Astaroth too were at their limit, struggling to survive. Raziel couldn't bring herself to interfere any longer. She felt like it would be a sin to get into such a battle. Her feet refused to move. For she had never seen a more beautiful sight Then those two colors of crimson and white clashing against each other in the gray skies of Akihabara.
With all my power in a swing, lost count of how many styles I copied, how many slashes I launched, how many times the weapons clashed. It's the first time in my life that I thank my inborn physical prowess from the bottom of my heart. The man in front of my eyes likely transcended the notion of good and evil. Well, the one who had to force an opinion, I like to label him the villain. But in this fight, such details no longer mattered. I struggled to survive, and that was enough, for I finally grasped my raison d'etre. I claimed it, embraced it, and swore to never let it go again. In order to make that vow a reality, I displayed a man in front of my eyes. Astaroth, crown prince of hell, the ruler of demons, the avatars, serpents, and dragons that developed what used to be an ancient goddess of fertility, Ishtar, the mightiest, most valiant, most beguiling of demon lords. But of myself, Tendo Setsuna, a human, a mere mortal, the past no longer mattered. We're locked in the equal battle right now. Such was reality. I parried his sudden slash downwards by the skin of my teeth. God of might, Tachikara Wo! The muscles momentarily swelled, raw power exploded into my bloodstream. Astaroth lost his footing. Attack of it meant nothing to him in normal condition. But he already carried a mortal wound. I spun around in a split second, slammed into Astaroth on my back, changed the grip of my sword to an inverse stance, punched it next to my side in the motion of committing seppuku. The sword pierced his target. Crimson blood gushed out of his body. I was momentarily overtaken by the beauty of his hue. It seemed demons bled the same liquid we did. Astaroth chuckled to himself, not in self-mockery, but satisfaction. A sudden cold gust of wind swept around us, as if signaling the end of our battle.
I finally fulfilled my promise.
Promise?
I struggled to the very end. Indeed, I remained a being of contradictions.
Astaroth wasn't looking at me. His eyes were fixed on somewhere far away, gazing at someone else's face.
I protected Tokyo Babel and tried to preserve mankind. At the same time, I attacked them and tried to destroy them.
Of your affectionate hatred?
I loved him. I hated him. Both of them were my genuine emotions, and the way of my life. I am satisfied. I couldn't have been more satisfied with this end if I tried.
He closed his eyes. Astaroth fell from the sky. The words, "fallen angel," momentarily popped into my mind, and soon dispersed. I didn't know whom he meant, but it sounded like someone very important to him. He loved him so much he wanted to kill him. He hated him so much he wanted to treasure him. Affectionate hatred was Astaroth's raison d'etre. From Raziel lingering at Astaroth's immobile body.
I cannot believe it.
Neither can I. Still, he'd already been hurt pretty badly before the fight. Nonetheless, despite his condition, he still struggled to survive to the very last moment. He didn't mind dying any time, yet he still fought tooth and claw to remain in this world.
Most demon lords like him used to be called gods before our Lord banished them to hell. Not to mention his origin was of the ancient goddess of love, Ishtar.
Raziel suddenly lay a piece of magical cloth over his body. Was that the Holy Shroud?
I guess it was inevitable. Make it affection, hatred of his raison d'etre.
Raziel booted her tablet.
Ash to ashes, dust to dust. Who would have thought? I'd ever have to use these words. Burying a demon.
She uttered the tender words. Astaroth's body burst into flames. In a few moments, there was nothing but dust left off the once supreme demon lord. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The one lauded as the crowned prince of hell, a possible perpetrator of the divine calamity, had left this world.
Let's go. The 5th and 6th strata still await. My book is the key to everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you find your raison d'etre?
Yeah. Not of conviction. Raziel answered with a solemn bow.
Congratulations, Tendo Setsuna. You're now officially worthy to challenge Tokyo Babel. I know it matters little in our current situation, but nonetheless, congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't feel particularly happy, but nor did exhaustion or anger overtake me. The first step is still many to come. The path before me was a long one. First the 5th, 6th strata, then Raziel's book, and finally the mysterious man. To fight him in the end, and rescue Kugutsu Sorbi at the same time.